Martin, thanks for your time. Hope you're all is well over there, mate. You're starting to feel yourself again over the sort of last 6 months or so. Your form since December's been incredible at Hibs, and back scoring for the national team again now. Do you start to feel like, you're sort of back to your absolute best?
Personally, I feel like I am, I'm getting there. Like I say, I'm contributing goals and assists again at club level and international, which is perfect. The injury at the start of the season, which prolonged for several months, wasn't ideal for me. So obviously to get back up to speed so quick now at a vital time for club and country is perfect.
We spoke to Popper after the game, obviously, and just sort of asked why you might have been taken off at half-time. He said it was precautionary. Can you just sort of provide us any details around that? And you've made the trip, so that's a good sign.
No issues at all on my front. Just a slight tight groin. Obviously these things happen in football, but I think obviously as a management and a physio department, precautionary at that point was probably needed. And the spell in the game where we were 3-0 at half-time, it's not often you can do that and you can take that precautionary. So yeah, it suited me, it suited everyone else. So it was perfect and there's no dramas.
Vince?
Thanks, Matty. Hey, Boiler. I'm pretty sure you play up front at the moment for Hibs, or you have been. Is that a role you think you could also fulfil in this system under Popper? Obviously, with the two boys having not travelled, Tags and Cassini.
Obviously I started my career as a striker and then drifted out wide. I feel like it's certainly a position that I could fill in terms of getting around the pitch, being a bit of a free player, free spirit as I am at clubs at Hibs at the moment. Obviously it would be different here as at Hibs I'm playing in a two, kind of a big guy, small guy role. But I think if I was called upon to play there, I would certainly give my all. I would never back down to that. But like I say, I'm contributing at the moment in the position and trying to learn what he wants me to do and adapt, which I feel like is different aspects and elements to my game, which is good. So I'm always learning. So like I say, as long as I'm in the squads or on the team sheet, then I'm a happy guy.
And obviously we're about to hear from Nectar, who by all reports is absolutely braiding it for you guys at the moment this season. Didn't get into the squad, obviously, for the Indonesia game, but how personally excited are you by, Nectar Triantis, the footballer he's becoming, and what he might be able to offer the Socceroos if he gets a chance, based on what you've seen?
Absolutely delighted for him. I was there when he got the message. He was absolutely buzzing. Normally the guys give him a high five around the dressing room, but it was him. He was flying around the dressing room giving other people high fives. You could see the excitement on his face. He phoned his mum straight away, and for that delight for him, I'm absolutely ecstatic. It's fully deserved for what he's done at Hibs this season. He's still a young boy. He's got a lot to learn, but I think bringing him into this environment after the way he's been playing is perfect. He can get an idea how we want to play, the style that we play, and it's just a big learning curve for him. So obviously you'll have to remain patient, but I'm sure if called upon, he would take his opportunity.
Anna?
Yeah, hi, Martin. Thanks for your time. We've just seen, as Vince sort of alluded to, Juki come into the squad at late notice. He's obviously led the line so many times in the past. Can he, despite not being there for the first half, come in, start, do the job you need if called upon?
We're certainly hoping so. Juki's a great professional. He looks after himself. So that's the main thing. Obviously he's probably a bit unfortunate with the lack of game time that he's had not to be selected, but like you say, he was certainly in the first flight out when he was selected, so I'm sure he's more than ready. And like you say, when you're representing your country, he'll give his all, and he always has since my time here. So he's certainly a terrific striker, and hopefully we can get him on the pitch and score goals.
And obviously China away is it can be a pretty difficult proposition for you guys in attack. What are you anticipating, and how do you make sure that you make the most of this and come away with this window with 6 points?
Hopefully we're as clinical as we was the other night. When we get the chances, we know we'll have to put them away and we'll have to be defensively strong. We'll obviously know we're the away team, so they may come out the traps early, so we'll have to be wary for that. But hopefully we can break them down, play our normal game, and like you say, be clinical when our chances come.
Joey?
Cool. Boiler, thanks for your time this morning, mate. Obviously, the game that you played against Indonesia, I think that was your first time actually seeing the pitch under Tony, not part of his first squad, and then on the bench in his previous one. Did you have any conversations with Tony or any of his staff around, what you could do to get back on the park? Was it mainly just you taking the initiative and playing as well as you could?
Yeah, I think it was just taking initiative, working hard. Obviously hard work gets you here, and he obviously knows the talent that everyone has in the squad. I think the strength and depth that we have now, it's really challenging, so you have to be at the top of your game and producing. So thankfully I've managed to do that. Thankfully I've managed to catch the eye and get back into the team. Obviously as a player you want to remain there. So yeah, that's the challenge for me, just maintaining those levels, and hopefully catching an eye and keep playing and producing.
And I know you've spoken on this recently, mate, but it would be remiss of me not to ask again, given that we don't speak to you often, but at a contract at the end of the season, I think you said you're open to extending your stay at Hibs, but nothing till the end of the campaign. Is that still the case? Any developments on the contracts, maybe the A-League in your future?
No developments as such. Obviously when I'm away in international camp, it's fully focused. Obviously there may be a lot of discussions to be had with Hibs. That's to remain. I'm a bit uncertain with that, but like I say, I'm fully focused. I've managed to find levels to my game again, which I'm really happy with. So yeah, it's probably something that we'll focus on at the end of the season. In terms of the A-League, yeah, I've always stated that I'd like to play here, so obviously I'm not shying away from that, but like you say, I'm fully committed to Hibs at the moment, and I'm fully focused on this camp, so yeah, I'll just leave that in the background.
Ted, we'll come to you, and if anyone has any further follow-ups, just hand up after Ted's questions. Thanks.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for your time, Martin. You guys have been talking a lot about mentality and ruthless mindset. I just was curious what you guys are doing sort of behind the scenes to work on mindset.
There's obviously a lot going on. We've got a psychologist in at the moment, which can help. A lot of clubs and national teams have them at the moment. It's someone to speak to, open up. But I think it's just ideally working hard behind the scenes. Everyone's doing their bit. I think the togetherness in the squad, and yeah, like the squad and depth that we have, everyone's pulling in the right direction. And the ultimate goal is to qualify for a World Cup. That's the ultimate aim that we have to focus on here. So yeah, that's pretty much the only goal that we're setting to achieve.
Yeah, cool. And back on Nectar, what can you sort of tell us about him? How's he adjusted to life over there? He seems like a really great young fella.
Yeah, he's a terrific person. Nice guy. Obviously, I had the pleasure of playing with him at club football, which is great. Like I say, he's still a young boy. He's got loads to develop, and I'm sure he's got a lot more to give. But yeah, he's certainly took his chance with Hibs at the moment, and like I say, he's caught the eye and he's deserved his call up. And I'm sure when he's given the chance, he'll take it with both hands. But I think it's just having that patience, keeping that excitement contained, and just keep working hard for him.
All right, we'll go Luke, Vince and Joey a question each, and then we'll wrap up with Martin. So Luke, we'll start with you.
Yeah, just a little bit on the November window again, where you got your recall, but there's bench and then not a match day squad. Did that sort of light something inside you? Because since then, like I mentioned, you have been really, really good, but did you sort of walk away from that camp with a little bit of extra motivation?
I think I definitely walked away with a point to prove. Maybe it was a kick up the backside. Maybe I wasn't performing to the best of my capabilities, and I certainly got told that. So yeah, obviously I had to go back club level, work on and off the pitch tirelessly, and obviously produce the results that we have at the moment. So yeah, it was definitely an eye opener, and thankfully I managed to get back to my best, catch the eye again, and long may it continue. Obviously, I know I'm playing well just now, but I want to be achieving more. I want to maintain that level and produce more results on and off the pitch.
Vince?
Martin, just sort of semi on your contract stuff again, not asking specifically here, but obviously going into a World Cup year, how much does, wherever you go next or even if you stay, in terms of giving you a good sort of, springboard for that World Cup next June matter to you, particularly for you, given the heartbreak of the Qatar experience for you? I can't imagine there'd be much more driving you in terms of playing at a World Cup. You must be so desperate for that and wanting to do everything you can to make sure that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest with you, Vince, I honestly haven't really discussed or opened into my contract. I know some players would get worried at this stage, or maybe take their eye off the ball and worry about injury and stuff like that, but I've fully reversed and played well at the moment, and probably the best thing I can do. But like I say, I've not had any conversation with anyone. I'm just trying to stay focused on playing the best football I'm capable of doing, which seems to be working at the moment. And like I say, my ultimate goal is to get over that upset of the last World Cup. Obviously, being selected and obviously experiencing it, but not experience it on the pitch. That's something I really want to do. It's something I've set my targets to, and obviously I want to make that achievable.
Last one for you, Joey.
Martin, I just wanted to ask you talked about raising your game and points to prove to get back into the squad. At the same time that you've been doing that, there's been a lot of excitement in Australia about a new generation of young attackers coming through, what they could bring. When you're here, are you cognizant of a rising generation as an established member of the squad? Do you hear about, or do you see these boys playing and use it as motivation yourself to sort of make them, if they're coming for your job, you're certainly going to make them earn it?
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, if you're producing results, then you stay in the team. But obviously, football does eventually come to an end as you get older. Everybody knows that. Obviously, I think as you get older, you have to look after your body even more, recovery-wise, eating better. So, yeah, obviously, I feel like I've got a young heart. I can keep going for a long time. But like you say, you're always looking behind your shoulder because somebody else wants to have that jersey. So that's also extra motivation. But seeing the young generation coming through is brilliant. It's the squad depth again, and it's ideally what we want. Obviously, yeah, we'll have to keep the manager happy, and because if you're not, then someone else could get selected and take your chance. But like you say, the young boys in the A-League at the moment are certainly doing well, and they're certainly making statements at the moment. But like you say, if they're patient enough and keep producing them, then I'm sure they'll get an eye in soon.